Hello folks, I'm Alex, this is Alex Unabridged, and today I'm doing the Let's Get Outside with Books tag. So welcome back to the channel folks. Yeah, something a bit different today. I'm on holiday in the Cairngorms and I'm walking a little section of the Speyside Way. Today, nice little path ahead of me, nice little path behind. It's going to be in and out of the woods. I don't think I'm going to get much mountain views today because it's plugged in, but hey. So I thought I'd do a little tag whilst I was out here. So yes, the Let's Get Outside with Books tag, originally created by Ms. Reads a Lot, and I'd seen this on a couple of channels, but first off on Read by Fred, so I will link to their videos and their channels in the description as always. So yes, this is a list of prompts inspired by book titles of books that are about or set in the outdoors or in nature and that kind of thing, so right up my street basically. So yes, I will stop at various points and do a prompt, so I'm not doing it all on the move and out of breath and wobbly cameraed. So yes, I will stop soon and start doing the prompts and have a bite to eat at the same time. So yes, let's crack on. So, prompt number one is Into Thin Air is the inspiration, which is the John Krakauer book, which is his account of the 1996 Everest disaster. And the question on the prompt is, what is one of your favourite books set in or about the outdoors? I have quite a few. Certainly Into Thin Air is one of them, the Krakauer book. My favourite, my all-time favourite, is Mountains of the Mind by Robert Macfarlane. So if you want to hear me gush about that one, then again, I'll link to that in the description. But the appropriate one for today is, to mention in this, is Walking Home by Simon Armitage. Seeing as I am walking home essentially, or at least back to the cottage where I'm staying for the week, or the 2 weeks. And yes, Walking Home is Simon Armitage's story of his trip on the Pennine Way, his completion of the Pennine Way from north to south, and he walked home because he's from that end, the Yorkshire end, and I live close to that end as well, in the Derbyshire bit. So yes, so it's a beautiful book, it's beautifully written. And I've had it as audiobook read by Simon Armitage, and it's just the most relaxing experience ever, and really interesting because he does it as a troubadour, so he stops along the way and gives poetry readings and relies on the kind of kindness of strangers for accommodation and all that kind of stuff. So yes, check that out. Right, onwards. Okay, prompt number two, which is Winterdance, which is a book by Gary Paulsen, and is his story of his first time running the Iditarod, despite the fact that he's not very good at it, not particularly good at it apparently. So the question attached to this is there a hobby or a skill that you keep trying even though you're not very good at it? Yes, there is. Climbing and but more bouldering for me. I started doing it before the pandemic hit, and I loved it, and I still love it, but I'm just not very good at it. I have crappy balance, which does not help on the wall. And then I had a break of like 2 years, and well, 3 years now really. We've still not managed to get back. Injuries and all busyness of life and all that kind of stuff. But we are going to start, me and my wife both are going to start back bouldering when we get back from holiday, we are determined. So I will keep trying it and hopefully eventually get better. But yes, I do love it, but I will never be very good at it. The book that I would like to try, related to climbing, is Push by Tommy Caldwell, because I really love watching and reading about climbing, and I loved The Dawn Wall, which is the film version, and Tommy Caldwell is an amazing climber, and was the first person to free climb the Dawn Wall in Yosemite. It took him like 7 years, I think, to kind of actually plan it and figure it out and then do it, and it was incredible. And the film is well worth a watch, but I really want to read the book, because obviously in a book you get far more kind of information and stuff, and he's just a really interesting guy. He's a really nice guy, and so yeah, I want to read that. So that was prompt number 2. Okay, prompt number 3 is inspired by Wild, by Cheryl Strayed. Cheryl's account of her trip on the PCT, hiking the PCT after the death of her mum. And the question attached to this one is, recommend a book that has grief as a central focus. For me, I don't think I've read pretty much. I think I've read one book that has grief kind of at its core, really, and that is Pet Sematary. The first time I read it, I was way too young, really, in terms of to understand the significance of what it was really talking about. It was just scary, and I didn't get on with it great. I think it probably was about 17, something like that. And then I've reread it again recently, very recently, and yeah, now 42, I've experienced some grief, so I have a much better kind of understanding, I think, of what Stephen King's kind of talking about through the story of that. And it makes it all the more scary, but it also makes it kind of more layered and deeper. So yes, Pet Sematary. So prompt number 4 is Into the Wild, which is the story of Chris McCandless, who travelled into remote Alaska, but suddenly passed away in the wilderness. And the book is by Jon Krakauer. That's the inspiration. The question is, does the idea of living off-grid appeal to you? That's a yes and no kind of answer. Living more remotely, absolutely, especially having spent a bit of time up here in the Cairngorms. I would love to live a bit more remotely. That is the plan, and be energy, self-sufficient, and kind of off-grid in that respect. But I need electricity and I need internet. I don't think I'd survive long without the internet. So yes, I do want to be able to be self-sufficient in terms of like growing my own produce, keeping some livestock, that kind of thing. But yeah, I couldn't do completely off-grid. No, I'd miss Tinterwebs. I'd miss YouTube. What would I do about YouTube? So yes and no is the answer to that one. There is a book that I've had on my list for a while that I would like to read, which is called The Way Home, Tales from a Life Without Tech. I forget the author's name right now, so I'll pop it up on screen. But yes, that one sounds fascinating, about this guy's experience of moving away and living off-grid. So yes, that is prompt number 4. So, prompt number 5. Prompt number 5 is a walk in the woods, which is rather appropriate right now, considering where I'm going. I am in the woods. Obviously the book is by Bill Bryson, and it's his account of his adventure on the Appalachian Trail with his friend, I think Mike Katz, I think was his friend's name. Very, very good book. Very amusing book. So yes, that's the inspiration for this one. And the question is, what's a book with a really great friendship in it? And there is only one for me, and that is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. The relationship between Grace and Rocky is, I think, one of the best friendships I have ever sort of experienced in any form of media, books, films, TV, etc. I absolutely love that friendship. I won't say any more than that in case you haven't read it. If you haven't read Project Hail Mary and you like a bit of sci-fi puzzling, give it a crack. It was a proper surprise to me how fantastic it was. So yes, that is prompt number 5. So, prompt number 6 is Adrift, which is the story of Stephen Callahan's time lost at sea, not what I know. And the question goes with the prompt is, do you like water? The answer is yes and no. When it's like this, yes. Lakes, rivers, you know, in the UK, still waters, yes, love them. Sea, not so much, although some of the UK like waters are fine. And I do like seabirds and things like that. I do like going out on boats, things like that. But generally water, it bothers me a little in terms of what might be in it, especially the sea, especially warm waters. I have a terrible fear of sharks, and generally fish with teeth. Why? No. So yes, I'm not the biggest fan of water, and also being in the water as a swimmer. I'm a strong swimmer, but it's not the human's natural habitat, is it? And I do feel it does feel a little precarious sometimes. But I would certainly hop in here today because it's got quite hot. So yes and no is, do I like the water? The book that goes along with this prompt for me is one that, even though I don't like the sea, I am fascinated by it, and I'm certainly fascinated by deep sea. And there's a book I've had on my list for ages, which is called, I'll find my notes, The Brilliant Abyss by Helen Scales, which is about like really super deep sea life. Like all the weird fish that live like down in the dark and stuff like that, and also the threats to deep sea life caused by modern human activity, and I do really like the sound of that. I think that'd be fascinating, so I'm going to give that a read at some point. So yes, so that was prompt number 6, I believe. So, prompt number 7 is Hatchet, which is a fictional book by Gary Paulsen again, I think, about a boy who is in a plane crash. About a boy who's in a plane crash over Alaska, travelling to Alaska, and only has a hatchet for survival. So I thought, seeing as I've just hit civilization again, and I'm a contrarian, I would answer the survival question now. So the question on this is, what's your favourite book about survival, or a survival story? I've got a non-fiction one, which is Escape from Camp 14 by Blaine Harden, which is an account of a man's survival and escape from a North Korean political prison and out of North Korea. tough read, but very, very good. And the fictional one is a classic of apocalyptic horror, and that's The Stand by Stephen King. You know, that is all about the survival of those who are left after the super flu. I love that book. It's not quite my favourite Stephen King, but it is up there as one of his best, absolutely. So yes, so that is prompt number 7. Okay, prompt number 8. I'm nearly home now, so I'm back in my local woods. Prompt number 8 is A Perfect Storm, which is a book by Sebastian Junger, I believe, which is the story of a fisherman that were lost at sea during a huge storm. And the question is, do you like stormy weather? Yes, if I'm indoors watching it happen, and no, if I'm on top of a mountain or an exposed bit of moor when the thunder and lightning starts. No, as a hiker, storms are scary. Thunder and lightning storms are scary. I don't mind heavy rain, really heavy rain, things like that, but a fleeting storm when I'm in a safe place, yes, I love watching it or listening to it, experiencing it. But bear in mind, we're in Britain, so our storms are, you know, we get some bad stuff, but we don't get extreme stuff. We tend to get the tail end of, certainly on my side of the country, the west, we tend to get the tail end of like hurricanes and tropical storms coming across from America, but they are the tail end of things. We don't get extreme lows, nor do we get like super extreme highs, although that is changing. I am fascinated by extreme weather though. Like certainly the sort of stuff that the Americans get, like, you know, and particularly tornadoes, things like that. And I've had a book on my my wish list for a while, which is called And Hell Followed With It, Life and Death in a Kansas Tornado by Bona Menninger, I think you pronounce that, which is about a really bad Category 5 tornado in 1966 that tore through Kansas and right through, is it Topeka, the capital city of Kansas? So yes, that one has been on my list for a while. But yeah, I would like to read some stuff about kind of more extreme weather and actually, you know, in particular instances of extreme weather events. So yes, so that is my answer to prompt number 8. Right, onwards towards home. So that is all the prompts, apart from prompt 9, of course, which is always to tag some people. I will not do this. I don't know how far around this tag's gone. Don't know who's done it and who hasn't, etc. I think it's about a year old. But I will say, as always, I'll use the cop-out of if you want to do it, please do it. It's a cracking little tag, this one. And, you know, get outside and do it if you want to. You don't have to. Do you know what I mean? You can do it from the safety of your booktube den if you want to, so give it a go. It's a cracking little tag. Thank you to Ms. Reads a Lot for coming up with this. It's been really good fun, and it's been really nice to do it whilst I've been out and about on this walk. So I hope you have enjoyed coming along with me for this little toddle today and the answers. If you enjoyed it, please do consider giving us a like and subscribing for more content coming soon. I will be back on Sunday with part 1 of my holiday vlog. So if you like seeing the landscape and stuff, there'll be plenty more in that, just to warn you. And obviously some book talk as well, because I have been reading whilst I've been away. So yes, do join me for that on Sunday if you fancy a bit more, seeing a bit more of Scotland and hearing a bit more rambling from me. But I will toddle off now. The cottage is literally just over there, and I need to go and put my feet up. So for now, from me, that's ta-ra.